You look okay, you're smiling, you're replying messages, you're doing what you're supposed to do. But inside, something just doesn't feel right. And the strange part is, most people can't see this. So they think you're fine. Maybe you even tell them you're fine. But deep down, you know something feels different. When people think about anxiety, they usually think about panic attacks. They think about someone breaking down, crying, or losing control. But anxiety doesn't always look like that. Sometimes it looks like a normal person having a normal day, going to work, going to school, laughing with friends, posting on social media, while quietly struggling inside. That's why so many people live with anxiety for years without realizing it. Because it doesn't always look dramatic, sometimes it's silence. Have you ever had a conversation and then replayed it in your head later? Maybe on your way home, maybe while trying to sleep, maybe for days. You start thinking, did I say something wrong? Did they misunderstand me? Did they think I am weird? And before you know it, your brain has turned one small moment into a full movie. That's what anxiety often does. It takes a small thought and refuses to let go of it. You know you're overthinking, you know it's not helping, but somehow your mind won't just stop being restless. Then there's this tiredness, the kind that does not make any sense. You know you didn't run a marathon, you didn't spend all day lifting heavy things, but somehow you're exhausted. Why? Because your brain has been busy all day thinking, worrying, preparing for things that haven't even happened. Imagine leaving 10 apps open on your phone all day. Eventually, the battery drains. Your brain works the same way. That's why anxiety can make you feel tired even when you've done almost nothing physically. Sometimes anxiety isn't just in your head, you feel it in your body as well. Maybe your chest feels tight. Maybe your stomach feels strange. Maybe you feel restless for no clear reasons. Or maybe you keep taking deep breaths, trying to feel normal again, but something still feels off. That can be one of the most confusing anxiety symptoms because nothing seems wrong, but you don't feel okay either. Have you ever been excited about something and then suddenly wanted to cancel? Not because you didn't want to go, not because you don't like people, but because everything suddenly felt overwhelming. The noise, the crowd, the conversations, the efforts. So you stay home and then you feel bad for staying home. That's another thing anxiety does. It can make simple things feel much harder than they really are. One of the hardest things about anxiety is explaining it.
I've been meaning to tell you something. It's not easy for me to say, but I think you need to hear it.
Because sometimes you don't even understand it yourself. Someone asks, what's wrong? And you honestly don't know what to say. How do you explain a feeling you can't fully describe? How do you explain why you're struggling when everything looks okay? So eventually, you just say, I am fine. And the conversation moves on, even though the feeling doesn't. Then the ninth time comes, you're tired, you're finally getting into bed, you close your eyes, and suddenly your brain decides, hey, it's time for a meeting. Every awkward moment, every mistake, every problem, every fear, all at once. Things you haven't thought about in years suddenly show up. And while your body wants to sleep, your mind wants answers. That's why anxiety at night can feel so exhausting. But here's something very important: anxiety is not weakness, and it doesn't mean you are broken. Most of the time, it's your brain trying to protect you. The problem is that it starts seeing danger where there isn't actually any danger. It starts treating possibilities like guarantees. It starts acting like every problem is an emergency. That's why small things can suddenly become huge. Not because you're weak, but because your mind is stuck in protection mode. A lot of people think they need to fix everything immediately. Every problem, every fear, every unanswered questions. But sometimes the first step is much smaller than that. Sometimes it's just noticing what's happening, saying, okay, I am anxious right now, not judging it, not fighting it, but just noticing it. Taking one breath, then another, and letting the moments pass. If any part of this felt familiar, you're not alone. Millions of people deal with anxiety, stress, overthinking, and racing thoughts every day. And even though it can feel overwhelming, it doesn't define who you are. You don't have to have everything figured out today. You just don't have to solve your whole life problems tonight. Just focus on the next step. One small step, then another. Because even on the days when it feels like you're standing still, you're still moving forward. And that's something worth remembering. If you ever felt this way, leave a comment with one word, understood. You might help someone else realize they are not alone. Mental Spring with John Jr. Resets, heal, and grow.